If you're using this book and you're following along the I Ching journey of the collective for 2026, I just wanted to say there's no one right way to use this. Most important is that it's a reflection tool. So if you want to mark up every single page with your notes and your observations, your challenges, please do so. If you want to not touch it, please do so. If you just want to watch the videos or join me on Substack for the monthly parsed out sections that I think are important and that I'm presenting to you, please do so. There are so many ways to interact with this material. When you are using the book, just a really quick thing, we start with the hexagram. So the idea is that you have both of the hexagrams that are listed. So January, which is this month, we have mountain and admonishment. That's hexagram 52 and hexagram 39. The reason that I put the hexagrams there in part is because I know a lot of people use the R.L. Wing I Ching workbook. This information and this context is going to be slightly different from what I use. So I love this and I got started on this workbook. I then went through and I read a lot of the other books, like for example, the work by Wilhelm and many, many others have taken time to look through the I Ching and to create their own translations. The R.L. Wing workbook, one of the things that initially I loved about it was that it also has the Confucian content. What we have to understand is this book is thousands of years old. Not this particular book, even though it looks like it. The I Ching is thousands of years old, and it's one of the earliest books that we have on record. It's one of the oldest sources of divination that we have available. As such, over time and throughout history, we have seen many different philosophers add pieces of information to it. That's amazing. So we have a Daoist influence, we have the Confucius influence, and those are all present in this book. I love the book for that. Now, I actually had found randomly in a store the I Ching, a new translation, which restores the authentic spirit of the ancient text. This was first printed in 1987, and it was printed by Workman Publishing in New York. It's by Kerson and Rosemary Huang out of Hong Kong. What I loved about it is that they present the text as it is. There's none of the other discourse, suggestions, and information from other versions of the book, like the R.L. Wing and others. So it's stripped down to its basic function. This is what I use for this book, because as much as I love R.L. Wing's book, and I highly recommend, especially if you're interested in learning more about the I Ching, to start there, I really just wanted the core of the divination. I didn't want all of the extemporaneous information. And so Kerson and Rosemary Huang are my heroes because they created such an extraordinary book. It's highly worth a read. So this is how I have created this book. They are the ones that I used when I did my readings. I came up with the hexagrams, and then there's a description of what each of the hexagram feels like, means, the type of movement of the energy. Then there are some reflection questions. And right after the reflection questions, we have the movements of the energy. So again, a little bit more information about what a movement is going to feel like, what the energy is going to feel like. And then movement 1. So the movements of energy are literally 6 of them, and they're the same thing as the hexagram. So this would be movement 1, movement 2, movement 3, movement 4, movement 5, movement 6. And then if there are any changing lines, I make a note on the changing lines that are important Otherwise, they're not necessarily mentioned in here. But you will see that each movement has reflection questions. They're not extensive, so that way you can move through easily. But they work, and they more than work. They're really good reflection questions that can help you to become more familiar with the information, with the energy, and how the collective is moving at any given point in time. Finally, there are the closing thoughts for each of the month. This is the closing thought for January, and it gives us a summary. So maybe you don't want to go through all of the lines. You don't have to. You can jump to the beginning that tells you about it, and then the summary. The summary is important because in bold, I will have, you will know the energy is shifting towards whatever is coming next in February, because you will feel like this, or this, or you will notice this, or this. Ultimately, what I would love from working with you on this book is for you to really have a feeling of when the energy is shifting and how it is shifting. That's the purpose, and that's why the book is set up in this way. There are also collective check-ins. The collective check-in is every quarter. You can skip these, but the purpose of these were to notice where you are in the arc of movement for the entire year. So we start with the entire year, and then we move month by month and end with next year, the preview of 2027. So that's the book. I hope you join me in this experiment on releasing and reducing suffering by understanding the collective energy and how it is moving for you in your life in 2026, and what are the extraordinary lessons that you're going to be learning during this time period. I'm very excited to have you here, a part of the channel, and please leave any questions or comments below in the comment section. Thank you for joining Sanctum with Eve. I will see you in the next video.